What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm the boy Tequila. You already know. So we're completing the second round of. So we already did Aries to Virgo. Now we're gonna be doing Virgo to Pisces. So we're just strolling around the neighborhood, just walking around, seeing the locals, and yeah, let's get to it. So we got what we got. You guys just sleeping right there. But yeah, so we did Virgo, right? You need Pisces energy to be completely holy, to complete your 360. You need the 180, your opposite side. So you need to learn how to be more relaxed, more into the spiritual realm, more into like the realm of like the dream world. You know, you use more of your imagination instead of being so earth based. You gotta use more of your like earthly like imagination. Sorry, your spiritual imagination, your creativity. Learn how to be more empathetic instead of always being solution based in terms of servicing in the physical. Start learning how to do servicing in the spiritual. And the greatest service to yourself is by taking care of yourself. Because with mutable energy, you always want to like, you want to make contact with other people. Like especially if it's air mutable, you want to contact, mentally. If it's mutable water, you want to contact emotionally. If it's fire, you want to do it based on your expression and your actions. So when you have mutable earth, you want to be connected based on servicing or something physical. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to always make sure that when you're, experiencing that 180 degree, the opposite side of your experience, that you make sure that you learn from those experiences. Don't run away from them, you know? But yeah, that's Virgo. Now let's get to Libra. So with Libra, you have to learn your 180 degree, your opposite side, which is Aries, to become holy. If you want to become truly holy, like I said in my first video, it's not the moralistic holy we're talking about. We're talking about um, embodying the opposite element of yourself because you're born with your element, but you have to learn how to master dealing with the opposite side of you, opposite experiences, you know? And once you learn that and you master that, then everything else will make sense. And everything else, you feel complete. So it's very important to know that. Um so yeah, Libra, opposite side of Libra will be Aries. And by doing Aries, you have to learn more how to say no. Libras a lot of times say yes because they want to keep balance, but sometimes that can make you imbalance by trying to be balanced. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that um the way you keep balance is by being yourself, by being an individual when it's time to be an individual. Um Actually, let's go this way. I'm just freestyling this place, honestly. It's like I'm just going anywhere, pretty much. Exploring, you know, back home in Nigeria, back home in the motherland. So of course we have to keep it spiritual here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of ancient spiritual energy on this land. But let's get to the video. Libra, you gotta be more Aries. You gotta learn how to be an individual. You gotta learn how to be by yourself sometimes. You gotta learn how to be more forward, be more impulsive. Not everything needs balance. Sometimes you need to be fiery. You need to tell people how it is because when you do that, eventually, then that's how you become balanced because you've mastered both sides of yourself. So now you can be peace through strength. You can show your loving side. But at the same time, people won't play with you because you got that individual spark within you. So that's very important to do. Like it's very important to have that ability. You know what I'm saying? It's the local market over here. It's the local market. Yeah, we're just strolling through the neighborhood. I guess this is my daily exercise too, honestly. Walking. That's why everyone's so fit over here. It's like you don't even have to go to the gym, just walking and just being outside. That's how nature shapes your body, you know what I mean? Because our body is really water. It's water based, it's hydro based. And just like how water forms, you know, and takes shape, that's how your body takes form and shape. So it shapes with the water. You know what I'm saying? We're just living in a different density compared to fishes and aquarium animals. They have a different density base than us. But within our density, when you go outside, you're allowing that hydro atmosphere to um, shape and form your hydro body, your hydro vessel. So it's very important to be outside. It's very important to be outside because you allow your body and your skin, which, like I said, is hydro based, to be cleansed and shaped into the way it's meant to be. And of course, the most important one you got to do is your mind. Your mind is the greatest hydrosphere. You know what I mean? You go liquid around your brain, so it's very important that you know you're using your mind. And the more you use your mind, the more your body starts to shape. That's why it's very important to have a youthful energy, to be grateful and have gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do that and you're more in your youthful energy, you don't take life too serious. Of course, it's good to take life serious, but you don't want to take it too serious because if you take your life too serious, then you're gonna you're more in your Saturn energy when you take life too serious. So your body's too restricted; it cannot like mutate with that Jupiterian energy and expand. You know, you cannot expand. So it's very important that um yeah, you're balancing, you're utilizing both energy. You know what I'm saying? So as I was saying, yeah, Libra, you gotta be more in your Aries energy. You know what I mean? Learn how to become an individual. Learn how to be more action based. How to have your own identity. You don't always need the crowd for you to be yourself. And once you master that, because it's gonna be hard dealing with these type of experiences being a Libra, because you're so used to being around people, and that's your power. Like that's your natural ability is to be around people. So if you're not around people, it's kind of hard for you to be in your natural element. But that's the whole point. The whole point is to um be in a situation where you're not comfortable, because when you're not comfortable, then it forces you to come up with ideas. You know what I mean? And when it forces you to come up with your own ideas, that's when you're the most creative, you're the most powerful. That's when you have your true ability and you're truly holy. So it's very important to know that and deal with that experience, even if it's hard. And that's when you become really powerful, where you'll still be able to have that social, you know, ability. Ooh, almost car crash right there. That's Nigeria for you. Everyone's crazy over here. But anyway, um, so yeah, like I was saying, it's very important that you have that energy because you know how to socialize with people, but at the same time, you're still your individual self with your Aries energy, and people will know that. You know. So now let's get to Scorpio. So Scorpio, you got to be in your Taurus energy. You have to be less emotional based and deep all the time. And there's certain times it's just you got to be materialistic based. You got to chase the bag. You cannot always be in your emotions all the time. you have to find some stability. Um, you gotta have some form of stability. And when you have some form of stability, then you can pour your emotions to that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times with Scorpios is that there's a lot of things that Scorpios deal with. A lot of undealt emotions that Scorpios deal with. So sometimes they don't have enough, like they don't have no avenue to pour that emotions into. It's just there. It's just an iceberg. So it's very important that you find something that you can physically do that you can pour that emotions to, and you can make that your money or make that your business. I'll just show you guys the artwork. It's very nice artwork. I'm gonna screenshot this. It's very nice. But yeah, it's the artwork of the motherland. Um, so as I was saying, you gotta make sure that you have somewhere to pour your emotions to. You know what I mean? You have something like you can do that can become like, even if it's a habit, because that's fixed earth, right? So it's something you're fixated on. It's something you can physically do to pour that emotions. 'Cause Scorpios have a lot of deep emotions. You know what I mean? And a lot of what's the word? I'm trying to find the right phrase. Um, yeah, a lot of pimped up energy. Like Scorpios deal with a lot of pimped up energy, so it's very important that you have something physical you're doing that can, keep you keep you stable, can keep you like, you can have some form of stability, and you can even make money off it. So, as a Scorpio, whatever you're into, you're passionate about, because that's you're ruled by Mars and co-ruled by Pluto. So it's something usually deep, something sexual, something passionate, and find something physical you can, you can be fixated on. You know, the more you don't deal too much in your like deep emotions, and the more you like dive deep into something you can do as a routine or a habit, and that can even bring you money, then that's even more perfect. That's power. That's beautiful right there, because um, you can find some form of stability within those deep emotions. You know, and sometimes when you want to manifest things, you have to get out of your emotions, even though that's hard for a Scorpio, because Scorpios love things that are deep. They love aspects of, they love deep aspects, or just deep experiences and deep perspectives. So a lot of times Scorpios go through very transformative experiences, um, where they're forced to go deep. They have no choice, whether it's mentally, spiritually, or physically, and he transforms them. But then once they deal with this transformation, usually, um, there's like a gap or a hole within their heart. And the only way to fix that is by finding some form of stability, finding ways to stabilize that emotions or that passion. It's very important. So I'm just gonna wait for these cars. I don't know, Nigeria's, it's very different the way they drive over here. I'm gonna quickly cross the road. All right. So as I was saying, um, it's very important, yeah, that you find some form of stability or some form of routine or habit that you can keep doing, that you can pour those emotions to. You know, yeah, that's very important. So now we got, um, yeah. So yeah, with Scorpio finishing off, just because you guys, there's no Venus. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. There's no Venus in your sign. That's what is perfect about be, being holy. It's very important, because when you complete like the 360, it's like you know parts of yourself that you didn't want to know before. So it's like very important that you can master both parts of yourself. That isn't. It's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. Like especially like the Scorpios. Scorpios, Taurus energy is so very mundane and very surface level for a Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? But you have to master that because if you don't master that as a Scorpio, you would just sit in your emotions all day and you won't be able to do anything productive. So find something you can be productive in, but you can still be your true self because you got that Martian energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you know how to balance both. You know, you got the Venus energy with Taurus, but you're connecting it with the Martian energy with Scorpio. Same thing with Libra. You got the Venus energy, you know, um, but you also got the Martian energy with Aries. With Virgo, you got the Mercury energy, which is more of like the third dimension, thinking, communicating. Then you got the Neptune energy with Pisces. You know what I'm saying? Or Jupiter energy, which is more expanded. You know, it's not just within your local environment. Because now you're going outside of the country. You're going more international, more global. You know, so that's how things are. Everything balances and complements each other. But yes, now we got we just went through Scorpio, so we got what we got now. Sagittarius. Okay, so with Sagittarius, we have Jupiter energy already. All right. So now that we got Jupiter energy, we got to learn how to master that with the 180. Become holy, become complete. Gemini, right? So with Gemini, you got to learn. You know, as a Sagittarius, you got to learn how to be. Not everything has to be so preachy. Not everything has to be philosophized. Sometimes you can have regular chit chat. You can have regular, mundane banter. Just good vibes. Not everything has to be so expanded all the time. Yeah, so not everything has to be so expanded all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you learn how to come down to earth. With Sagittarius, sometimes with Sagittarius, I'm a Sagittarius moon, so sometimes we're very out there. You know what I mean? And we're very outside the boundary, and a lot of people might not comprehend that. A lot of people just they still like the Gemini energy, so they still like the regular chit chat, the regular you know, day to day conversations, what's going on the news, what's going on in their local environment, which is fine also, you know what I mean? Life is all about balance. You can never do too much of something because then that's when you create that imbalance. And then you're not in tune with, your natural self. So it's very important. So yeah, as a Sagittarius, you have to learn that Gemini energy, learn how to be witty, learn how to be, quick thinking and things like that. Um, shit. Cross. So yeah, just learn how to be witty and learn how to communicate, learn how to be mutable. You know, you can learn from others. As a Sagittarius, you can learn from others. Actually, the more you learn from others, the more you become more wiser because now you know different perspective. You know different. If you just stick to one philosophy, you'll never learn something new. Even the greatest teachers are also students, and that's what it means when you're a Sagittarius trying to balance your 180-degree energy, your opposite energy, which is Gemini. You got to learn how to become a student again. You got to learn how to become young again because I feel like just in life in society, because it's a very hierarchical, structured society, sometimes we feel like, okay, because I'm a certain age, I can never learn anything new. You know what I mean? Certain people reach a certain age and it's like, um, sorry, I'm just crossing the road. Yeah, they reach a certain age and they feel like, okay, I know everything. But the thing is, no, if you know everything, you wouldn't be here. Now, we do know everything within the spirit. The spirit knows everything, but that's the whole point of the spirit. Just like the ocean, only 5% has been discovered. The spirit is endless. So it's like, if the spirit is endless, then knowledge is endless. Wisdom is endless. So you can never feel like you're not still here to discover more. The spirit already knows everything, but within the mind, you're discovering everything now. You're discovering yourself. You know what I mean? So it's very important to know that. Yeah, it's very important. It's very important to know that. You know what I mean? So no matter what age you are, we're all students. You know what I mean? We're all utilizing that Sagittarius energy, aka our wisdom, our age, our experience, to utilize the 180-degree energy. We're using our experience to learn something new, learning within our local environment, because anyone can inspire you. Anyone can, you know, give you that spark, aka Tupac Gemini energy, to change the world. But the world is the Sagittarius energy, the Jupiter energy, but you need the spark. So you still need that the Gemini energy, the Mercury energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's very, 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 very important. Yo, what's up? What's up? Say hello to the camera. Say hello. Next time, next time. So yeah, that's very important. Just locals. Um. So yeah, we're just strolling around the neighborhood. Um. So yeah, Sagittarius, always know that you can always become a student, no matter what age, no matter what knowledge and wisdom you already have. There's always something new to learn. Um. Now what else? We got Capricorn. We already went through. So now, yeah, we already went through Sagittarius. We're going through Capricorn. So with Capricorn energy, you have to do your 180 degree, which is Cancer. So Capricorns, you already come in this life with a lot of experiences that make you dry-hearted. That shows you that it's all about business, with no emotions, no feelings involved. So that's how you learn life. You perceive life. You perceive life through the earthly lens. No emotions, just straight business, straight structure. No, you know, no form of movement, too much freedom. You like it tight and structured, which is fine. But then at the same time, you need that cardinal energy, that cardinal water, aka Cancer, to flush away any old structure or old buildings or old stability that is no longer serving you. You got to wash it away. You got to create that great flood. Like it says in the Bible, in Noah's Ark. When you create that great flood, you flush away any old and outdated structure, any old and outdated um, routine or form of stability, and you create something new. So you have to learn how to have more emotions as a Capricorn, learn how to be nurturing and family based, whatever makes you feel family, whatever gives you like some form of family or some form of emotional wellness, whatever that is. The more you do that, the more like things will work out for you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, yeah, it's good to have earthly mentality and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's very important that you also have like some form of emotional stability. Some form of emotional, you know, um, creativity. So you have to be open to that. So there's gonna be a lot of experiences that are emotional for you as a Capricorn that forces you to show your emotions, whether good or bad. You just have to learn how to control that, because cardinal energy is like a force. It's very powerful. It's like a birthing energy. Um, I hope you guys can hear me with this microphone. There's a lot of loud noises and stuff like that, but that's okay. Um, so yeah, it's very important that as a Capricorn, you master that emotional part of you. You master that Cancer energy. Learn how to be more emotional, intelligent. You're gonna need it. Not everything's gonna be just based on earthly business or structure and things like that. What else? So now we got so Capricorn, yeah, Cancer. You're gonna learn. You're gonna be put in situations where it's not all about just money. You have to take care of your family. You gotta learn how to take care of the people that you have some form of emotional connection to, or learn how to create one. Yeah, that's very important. Um, yeah, learn how to use your intuition more. Of course, it's good to use statistics, but sometimes statistics need to change. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be open to change and open to new emotions. All right, now um we got Aquarius. We're almost done. Aquarius, you got to be more Leo-like. You got to use your opposite energy. So sometimes you're gonna be forced to be put um put on center stage. You're gonna be forced to be to create your own character. You cannot always be amongst the masses all the time. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have North Node in Leo, life is gonna force you to be center stage. You're gonna actually, because the Aquariuses, they like to be amongst the people. They like to be in the background. You know what I mean? But still be themselves. But when you're in Aquarius, you're gonna go through experiences that put you center stage, and these might seem like embarrassing situations, or embarrassing moments where you have to be center stage. But that's okay. That's part of life. You have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to create your own character. Learn how to be more. Not everything has to be for the people all the time. Sometimes it's good to be a little bit to focus on yourself. And people might see it as self. Well, you might see it as selfish, but it's not really selfish, because selfish is just learning about the self. It's just selfish. You know what I mean? So selfish means it's not really truly you. You know what I mean? So when people are selfish, it's because they're not being their true self. Because you'll be self-full. So if you're selfish, that means you're kind of yourself, but you're playing a character. You know what I mean? That is kind of yourself, but it's not really you. So Aquarius is you have to learn. Aquarius are very no, they're Saturn based, so they don't really like to play character. They like to be real because they're Saturn. They got a Saturn energy and they got Uranus energy, so they don't care about the status quo. So they don't care about playing a character. But Leos, they love that and they're really good at it. So as an Aquarius, you're gonna go through a lot of experiences where you you're forced to be a character. You're forced to create your own identity. Even if you don't want to, but you have to. It's very important. We all need an ego because you wouldn't be here or exist or have no form of physical awareness without an ego. The mind is a form of an ego, and the physical body is a form of an ego. You know what I mean? The mind is more of an internal ego, which is like the moon energy, and the sun is more of an external ego, which is the physical energy. The sun, yeah, is the physical ego. So it's very important that you still have that. It's good to create your own ego. It's good to create your own character and things like that. It's very important because when you create your own character and your own ego, it's like it's fun. You're the creator, so you get to create it. You can destroy that ego, create a new one. What I mean, mix it up, style it up, whatever ego you want to create, you can create that. You know what I mean? So that's the good thing about Leo energy. It's like a character, and you can create whatever character you want. You know what I'm saying? It's all up to you. So Aquarius, you have to learn that. You have to learn how to utilize your healthy ego, express yourself. It's good to be center stage and be the main, the main creator and the main character and actor of your role, of your experience. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. So we got some more buildings. It's really nice. So yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. So Aquarius, you got to learn how to be center stage. You got to learn how to express yourself. You know, you got to learn how to be playful, charismatic. You know, create your own ego, your own mask, your own golem, and experience that. Yeah, express yourself. That's what a lot of Aquarius is going to go through. Now, last but not least, we got Pisces. So Pisces, you're going to be dealing with the Virgo energy. You're going to be going through a lot of experiences that bring out the Virgo energy out of you, and you're going to have to deal with a lot of physical things. You're going to have to learn how to service yourself, service your body first and foremost with the Virgo energy. So not everything's going to be based on imagination or based on your emotions. It's going to be some things are going to have to be surface, materialistic based. You know, organization. You got to be organized. Pisces can be scattered minded. You know what I mean? Pisces can be very scattered because it's Neptune, so it's not physical. You know what I'm saying? It's like the gas. It's like a gas. When you let out gas into the atmosphere, it spreads, it scatters. You know, so it's very important that you have to learn how to be more organized. You got to learn how to be more strategic as Pisces. You got to learn how to just focus on the materialistic experiences that you're having, not the emotional or imaginative experiences. It's very important as a Virgo, sorry, as a Pisces, to utilize that Virgo energy. You know what I mean? Um, not everything has to be imaginative. Sometimes you got to think. You got to use logic. You got to, because it's Mercury. So not everything's just based. You can only really use your right brain. You're gonna deal with a lot of experiences that forces you to use your left brain. You know what I'm saying? That forces you to have to solve real life situations. You know what I mean? You cannot just dream about it. You gotta actually do it now and organize it and make it a routine and a habit. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna go through a lot of experiences where you don't feel like doing that. You don't feel like servicing in the physical and doing all these organized routine. You rather just what I'm saying, you rather just do your own thing. You rather just do your own thing. You rather just you know be in your imagination, be in la la land. But you cannot. Sometimes life forces you to have to take care of things in the physical world and service yourself or others. And the more you master that, the more you become more organized, the more you become more disciplined, everything else will come into fruition for you. And that's how you become truly holy utilizing astrology. You know what I'm saying? If you want to become a holy one, whether it's your sun, your moon, your rising, it doesn't matter. Just utilize the 180-degree opposite side of your element and you'll become truly holy. And here, guys, that's the video for today. Hope you guys gained something new and enjoyed the beautiful view of Nigeria. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you soon.